What is good, and welcome back to the Life After Baseball podcast. I know y'all see us outside, so I know you're wondering. It's a little different from what we're used to, but today we got something different for y'all. We're running a nice little vlog style behind the scenes of what it is and what we do on the weekends, what we do with our own business, and what we're also doing with the podcast. You guys are gonna get to see a chance of what it looks like to get our content in order, ideas, bouncing ideas off of each other, going to different locations and everything like that. You're gonna get to see the raw, uncut footage, and you guys are also gonna get to see a little preview of what we got coming up next. So I switch it to my boy Chris.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Chris Campbell here, one half of the Life After Baseball podcast. As JP said, we're right here in Washington Square Park, switching it up a little, doing it vlog style, just showing you guys some of the behind the scenes. Some of you may see the finished product of us doing the podcast, loving the episodes, appreciate the feedback, but a lot of you guys don't even see what goes on behind the scenes. Us setting up the studio, finding studios, right? Because we're looking for a new studio. Us putting together the guests, us putting together questions, the format of things, right? How we can improve the podcast. There's just so much. There's so many things that go into it. So once again, we always appreciate the support, but we want to show you guys, some of the behind the scenes, so you guys can get a little sneak peek and a little deeper dive into the Life After Baseball pod. So we'll see you guys on the other side.
But now we're gonna switch the conversation to something that we started talking about on the podcast, and I felt like we didn't get a chance to really break it down more and speak more onto it. And Jordan did an amazing job bringing that up, and it being the piece of advice he would give the next generation, which was to give yourself grace once your sport ends, once baseball ends, once whatever it is that you were pursuing in life first and that it didn't come to fruition. Give yourself grace to find that next thing. And I feel like that's something that
so important.
It deserves its own conversation, because we don't give ourselves that grace, especially as athletes, because we move at such a fast pace. We want to be the best at what we're doing immediately, as soon as we step into it. It's just like we want to be top level results. And I wouldn't even just say athletes, all of us, when you're a high level athlete or an athlete who played at a high level.
Yeah, you have a standard for yourself. This is a standard that you just know, that you just hold yourself to. And it's crazy because you'll never reach your full potential.
No,
ever. But we know to an extent what we're capable of doing. And it's tough when, going back to the grace thing, you dedicate so much time, so much money into a dream, and
That's
that And 99% of the time, the dream ends not on your terms. And that's the part that's tough. Where it's if you're deciding okay, there's no future, and you really wanted to be a realtor, right, and get your real estate license, and you went and did that. Cool, that was your goal, and you stopped playing baseball because you knew I didn't have a future in it. And you made that conscious decision to do that. Most people don't even realize that was their last game, or that was the last time that they were gonna play,
God,
because they got hurt and couldn't get back to 100%, or because something happened and they got cut from the team, or I don't know, the season may not have panned out the way that you expected it to pan out, and out of nowhere you look back and realize, oh shit, my career is over.
Yeah.
And that realization, when you didn't have a concrete decision in that, is tough.
Joe, it's ridiculous, and it hits you like a bag of bricks, because just like you said, you go from literally, and the injury is the worst one. You go from literally playing one day to the next day you're not playing, and now you don't even know if you're gonna touch the field again.
That's a fact.
You're being very, very hopeful, to a deep extent. And another thing that I feel like why it's also difficult for us to find grace is that we always have these conversations growing up playing baseball. What I would do when I would make it, what to do to make it, everything that we should be doing in order to get there. We never once had a conversation, or at least paid attention to the conversations. What are you gonna do if you don't?
Yeah, what's the plan B?
What's the plan B? And I feel like that's where the grace period, that's why it's so difficult for us to really give ourselves that, because we never sat down to have that conversation. Okay, what do you do outside of baseball? Yeah. Because even when we were living our life, we had stuff outside of baseball we were doing, but we always knew in the back of our mind, I'm still chasing that, I'm still grinding for that, I'm still doing that, or whatever the case may be. So you're not even thinking about oh, I like this on the side, or I like that on the side. So then when it finally does end, you're just what do I like? But in all reality, you've been teaching yourself what you really like, and then it's coming to that realization like, all right, you know what? This ended. I gave so much time and dedication to this sport for 20 plus years, whatever the case may be. I have to remember that I naturally gravitated to this sport. You know, it wasn't something that I forced. Now that I'm older and more conscious, I can't think that I'm going to force myself into the next thing because, oh, this person is making money doing this, or this person is making money doing that. Like, it's so easy to look at the next person and what they're doing. Like, oh, I got to jump into this because they're making money there. No, that's not necessarily your lane.
Shiny object syndrome.
You feel me?
Shiny object syndrome.
So what ends up happening is you're looking at someone who's on a different level of their journey. You know, like
and a different chapter of their journey.
Exactly. Sure. And, you know, even to put it into a more personal term, you know, for you guys watching, you might see both of us, me and Cam, on two totally different chapters of our entrepreneurial journey. He's more seasoned. I'm more new to this. So for him, his days and everything like that are more built around systems, dealing with clients, contacts, everything like that, putting things in place. For me, I'm in my foundational period. So I'm putting all the groundwork together. So where he's dealing with more clients, I'm putting systems together and everything like that. So I can easily look at someone like Cam and be like, damn, yo, like, haven't gotten as many clients as he's gotten, as anything like that. But at the same time, Cam is easily going to look at me and be like, well, you're not at this part of your journey. You haven't even put your foundation work together.
You haven't even gone through these type of losses to even be ready to handle that next level.
You know, and it's me giving myself that grace. Like, you know what? All right, I got to remember that I haven't been doing this as long as he has. And I have to know that I'm going to get there eventually. And it's just understanding that grace. And it's not only understanding grace and knowing entrepreneurial stuff, but understanding grace and picking the next thing that's going to interest you. Because, yo, Cam, be honest. For you personally, how hard was it for you to figure out and decide what you were going to do when baseball ended?
Yo, I'll be transparent and I'm super thankful that I didn't really know what I was going to do. I mean, I did mess around with Forex trading a little bit when I was in 2018. So I must have been maybe like a junior in college. But I was super grateful that when I graduated, because I graduated in COVID. So think about that. Like, I graduated in COVID.
During COVID as well.
I didn't even have a full season. And then
you were still playing the last season?
I was still playing in COVID. So bro, we were in Florida when NBA got shut down. And I think D1 sports got shut down. Okay. We already know that we were gonna get shut down. But going back to the point, shout out to my guy Mo. Like, my environment assisted in what I'm doing now, because Mo was the person. A shout out to Mo, my best friend. He sat down and was like, yo, bro, I can show you this credit game. I can show you how to get 100K in credit. This was in June, maybe a couple weeks after I graduated. So I was fortunate enough to have the environment to show me that next thing. But 99% of the people don't have that, right?
Yeah, so, amen.
I think one thing I really want to highlight is that, like, feel what you need to feel and let time do its thing, right? It's going to be extremely tough to come to that realization that baseball, there's no future with baseball, or I mean, I get drafted, right? And it sucks, right? And don't feel bad that you have those feelings. Get upset. If you got to break down, whatever you have to do, right? Feel what you need to feel. And then over time, over a few months, over a year, you'll start to feel a little better, hopefully, about this next chapter in your life, because that's all that baseball was. It was a big chapter in your life that was able to get you to the point that you are now, or where you were when you stopped playing, and now there's a whole nother chapter that's ahead. Because don't let baseball define you, right? Don't let the sport define you. Like me and JP said in the first episode, I said that I was a failure in life if I didn't get drafted, which is crazy. Which is, in hindsight, that was super detrimental, to my growth. But on the flip side of that, to play devil's advocate, that thought process is why I got so far into playing. And a lot of people, because this is your plan A, that's the thought process that you have to have. Like, yo, I don't have a plan B. I'm going to make it, or I'm going to make it. So then when you don't make it and you get hit with that realization that, yo, this is the end for me, that's when it becomes tough. So I know I kind of bounce around a lot, but just to kind of recap is, feel what you need to feel and let time do its thing. It was hard for me. It was easier for me to find my next thing because I was around people who were doing great things at a high level, right? So experiment with different things. whether you want to do car rentals, whether you want to get into credit, whether you want to get into the workspace. Just find something. If you want to stay in baseball, there's people that you're going to see that may be coaches on the podcast and things like that in the future, just to stay around the game.
Yeah, amen. And, to speak to that, like I said, everyone's on their own journey, on their own path. You see someone like Cam, he had the luck of having a great system around him, and that's something that I want to put out to people, that your environment is very, very crucial, because in opposition to Cam's situation, I didn't have a very big network or anything like that. I had to create my network, when I got out of school, and I'll be completely transparent, with my situation. I ended up getting surgery and stuff like that, went through college. I also graduated during COVID as well. I graduated after COVID, I graduated.
On Zoom University.
2021 on Zoom University, exactly that. But the crazy thing about it was that I took 7 years to do a 4-year degree because I was dragging it out because I didn't want baseball to end. So think about that.
Wow.
I took 7 years to do a 4-year degree because I was trying to hold on to that dream so long. So I went into college in August of 2014. I didn't finish until 2021. So I
thought I stayed in college long.
So I transferred schools, I reclassified once and everything like that, just to keep the dream alive. And then when I got out, even though I went to a very prestigious high school and I graduated from Baruch, which has a great networking system,
it's a fact.
Baseball was my only focus, so I didn't network. So when I got out, I felt like I had nothing and nobody. I had nothing and nobody when I had gotten out of school. So I got out of school, I graduated, and I remember this vividly. I told myself, I looked at myself in the mirror after I graduated, and I was like, I don't want to do anything with this degree. I don't know what I'm going to do right now. But I know that there's 2 things that I need to learn right now. I need to learn my finances, and I need to learn how the world works and how I'm going to fit into it, because when you're an athlete, you live a very bubbled and sheltered life. I'm a little squirrel boy, my guy. But when you're an athlete, you live a very sheltered life. You live in a bubble. You don't really see what life is about. You're not technically a part of society at all.
We don't really experience things because we had to sacrifice so much of our personal life and that college fun and that high school fun because we were training to make sure that we draft ready.
Absolutely. So, when I got out of school and I had to figure my stuff out, 2021 was when I told myself and I asked myself that question. It's 2025 and I just now am finally figured out and I'm comfortable with what it is that I want to do and where I want to go and what I'm pursuing. Mind you, I went through so much stuff and I have experimented with so many different things before this, and it was part of my grace period where I'm just trying to figure out what do I like and what I can make money from. And it brought me back to, actually, funny enough, the first book I ever read when I got out of college, because I also said that I wanted to become a reader when I got out of college. I was like, I feel like I don't read enough. I feel like I don't learn anything. I'm just in this constant cycle. The first book I read was Ikigai, which is this Japanese philosophy of how to find your purpose. Funny that would be my first book that I would read. So it's the combination of what you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. And when you put that all together, that's your purpose. And the beautiful thing about it is that your Ikigai can change as time goes on and stuff like that. So I wanted to find, what my purpose was, what I can get paid for and everything. I went and did drop shipping. I did YouTube automation, which you put me on to. I did NFTs for a while.
I remember that.
What else did I do? There was so many different lanes.
Speak on that, because I really love the Ikigai thing, because I think that's a very good framework for somebody who's going through that identity crisis and needs to go through that grace period. The perfect thing for them. Now you basically have a clean slate. Unfortunately, most of us, once we graduate, we have bills, or we may have to move out of house, whatever the case may be, so we have to start working right away. And I'm big on, if you want to be an entrepreneur, which I feel like most athletes at their core, they want to be their own boss or have a lot of flexibility.
I feel like they need to, not that they want. I feel like they need to. It's just that burning thing inside of us that we know how to run ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's just like we want to be able to do that.
That's a fact. And then right, so because of that, you may. I always say your first business partner is your 9 to 5,
yes.
Right? It's because your 9 to 5 is going to be the thing that pays the bills, and then every paycheck you can put money aside, and that's going to be to invest in a mentor or to invest in coaching or a course to help you learn something. So going back to what he said, he was able to find what he loves and what he's doing now from that concept, Ikigai. So maybe that's something that you guys may look into, where it's like, what is it? Find something that you love, something that
your Ikigai is basically a combination of what the world needs, what you love, what you're good at, and what you can be paid for. Those all together create one thing in the middle that will tell you what your Ikigai is. Now, the beautiful part about it is your Ikigai changes as you change, because you never want to stay in the same place. So as you grow and as you evolve, your values are going to change, your focuses are going to change, different things are going to change. So you might have, your value system might shift, or what is important to you might shift. What you like might shift. What you can get paid for might shift as well, because just the way the economy works, there are jobs back then like that you can't get paid for nowadays. So it's just like you can be able to move with the times. It doesn't keep you stuck in place, which is the last thing that you want to be. And it was something that really helped me. And when I did mine and I wrote down my Ikigai, I was very, very like blunt honest with myself. Like I literally put everything down that I was good at, everything that I thought that I was good at. Video games, I put talking to people, I put anything that at the time I like that. I was just completely raw with myself and wrote down everything that I thought that I was good at. Then I just wrote down everything that I love to do. Then I just wrote down a bunch of stuff that people that I can get paid for doing in those realms. And then what you start to see is that, and it's the power of putting things on paper. You start to connect the dots.
So you can see it.
I used to always think that I was, I can keep everything in my mind.
Whiteboard brain dumps help me. Like on a whiteboard,
I'm learning
in my brain, so you can just see what's on there. You can erase stuff. You can move stuff around. Oh wait, okay. So I'm good at talking to people. Okay, so you have podcasts, you have interviews. There's a lot of stuff you can do with talking to people. Okay, I'm good at, and maybe be a speaker. I don't know. There's a lot of things, right? And then it's kind of going down the list of what you're good at, what you can get paid for. And I think that's the biggest thing. Now, and this is why I think this podcast is going to be more important than we even think, because those people that have those identity crises, you're going to see people like Jordan. Like we've already had people that have watched the episode with Jordan that's like, oh, I didn't know that you can get into real estate without being a realtor, and Jordan's super successful. Yo, let me tap into him. Okay, Jordan's mentorship is X amount. Okay, I don't have that yet, but let me use my job as my first business partner. Let me calculate how much I have to put away every week to make sure that in 2 months I'm able to invest with Jordan, and then he could become my first mentor, and then I could start to get into entrepreneurship and live the life that I want, right? But that's why, once again, this podcast is super important, because you're gonna find people that we went through exactly what you're gonna go through, the identity crisis. And as JP said, he broke down what he did to kind of get through that, right? And he's gonna go a lot deeper into that as well. And then even myself, just getting around people that are in the position that you want to be in. So I want to be able to drive nice cars. I want to be able to make my own schedule. So what that looked like, entrepreneurship, right? And then I was fortunate that the vehicle was credit, right? So find your vehicle. At the end of the day, the main goal is to make money, as a man, to take care of your family and to enjoy, life, because life is extremely short.
Absolutely.
And the vehicle for me was credit. The vehicle for you may be coaching. It may be real estate. It may be health and wellness, right? But the faster you fail, which we're extremely good at, especially in baseball, the faster you fail and fail forward, the faster you're going to find out what can replace baseball and maybe even be more fulfilling with baseball, because now you may be able to be in the position like I'm in, where I'm able to impact not only people but their families as well.
Absolutely, and I can attest to that personally.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
I was gonna attest to that personally. So funny enough, give you guys some backstory, right? So before this was a business, before this was a friendship and anything like that, or this was a business, personal relationship, whatever, I met Cam through a personal friend. Shout out to my boy Vic, our boy Vic.
Yeah,
my boy Vic and I, we went randomly one time to
it was LIC, right?
LIC. What park is that? Gantry.
Gantry Park.
We went to Gantry State Park. Me and Vic were gonna go throw, and Cam was meeting us out there. And this was just around this was actually just when I had gotten out of college, probably a few months after, and I was getting and understanding my finances and getting into credit. I did not know anything about what Chris was into. Mind you, I did not know I didn't know that you were into credit. I didn't know. All Vic told me was, my boy Chris is gonna pull up. He's an entrepreneur. He played baseball and everything like that. I was like, I bet. Right. Copy. We pull up or whatever. We're throwing. We got a whole workout in. Out of nowhere, just by your environment plays such an important role, because Vic was doing his own thing, Cam was already doing his own thing, and I was blessed enough, I don't know how to draw the cards, how God placed me in it, but even with me having a 9-to-5, or with me not having an entrepreneurial identity or anything like that, I always was lucky enough to have entrepreneurs around me. Or I always found it that I aligned with them more than the people that I worked with. So it was that was also a little telltale beforehand that I was like, this is the route that I should be taking. And it also spoke to my energy that all right, they didn't look at me as this regular 9-to-5 or whatever the case may be, but neither here nor there. We get into conversation, we're just talking about, life, getting shit done, finances, and we get into credit. I tell Chris how I just opened up my first credit card, or my first few cards or whatever. He starts breaking down that he's into credit.
Know me, when I start talking credit, he
gets, and that right there, I was like, oh shit, you really thought? And for me, and I don't know if it's the athlete in me, or if it's just how my father raised me, but we're big on, when you show what you can do, I'm rocking with you. The very first day, mind you, this is the first time me and Chris had ever met. The very first day me and him had ever met, he sat down with me, looked at my credit and everything like that, took my Discover app, took my phone, said, yo, give me your phone right now. He was like, I could get you extra money on Discover. I was like, what? Took my phone, did whatever he does, extra $1,000 increase. No, $1,500 increase on my credit card. Boom.
And I'll tell you what I did real quick, because it's super simple. If you have the Discover app, you go to the app, you go to services on the bottom, you go to credit limit increase. It's going to ask you for your housing payment. It's going to ask you for your housing payment and your annual income. Once you put that, you'll get a decision on the credit limit increase in 30 seconds. So it wasn't nothing fancy that I did. It's just what I did for myself and for other people. And I showed him, he got an extra $1,000 in what?
$1,500.
Extra $1,500 in a couple minutes.
Bro, when I had opened that credit card, I was at $500. It was my very first credit card, because usually Discover is every first person's credit card, but luckily enough, I never opened a Discover card when I was in college, so I didn't get a chance to mess it up before I could actually benefit it. So I only had a $500 no, I had a $1,000 credit limit. I'm sorry, I had a $1,000 credit limit. So I give him my phone. He was like, yo, bro, I got you. Watch this. $2,500. He was like, here. I was like, hold on. He was like, yeah, bro, if you want, I could help you build your profile, build your credit history, everything. We'll get your credit all intact. Within the first month of me and him working together, I added 3 more credit cards, and my credit limit went from $1,500 to $10,000 in a month and a half. I got the Discover card. After that, he got me the Amex. He got me the Amex Blue Cash every day. Then after that, got me the Capital One card, and then he got me the Apple card with no hard inquiry through a crazy play for me, where at the time everyone was going through like inquiries for that. He got me the card with no inquiry, and off the rip, $5 grand. $5 grand credit card.
You went crazy, low key.
that first like 6 months, you got me like $20K, and that was just personal credit. This is not even business credit. This is personal credit.
Foundation.
It was all of that, but you know, like that just goes to show you, like, and it circles back. When you're trying to figure out and find out what you should do next, I think his name is Damon Mitchell. I don't know if you know him.
Damon Mitchell, maybe.
Or Mattel, I think it's Mattel, Damon Mattel. I'll show you his Instagram. But I was looking at his story one time, and someone had asked the question, oh, how do you find, you know, your purpose? How do you find where you should go? He said, look in the area that caused the most pain, heal there, and start there, and you'll figure out.
Ooh, that's good.
So there, to put that into perspective, for me, my biggest area of pain.
You said it though. No, but you said it in the beginning. You said after college, it was one of the main things you wanted to figure out was your finances, to focus on your finances. And literally, you having that thought process of, okay, I need to figure out my finances and how the world works. That's what you told me. I mean, that's what you said earlier. So, okay, you're going through figuring out how the world works, and you want to focus on your finances, and you just happen to be in an environment that allowed you.
I aligned myself with you.
Yep.
That's literally what it was. I said
preparation just meets opportunity. He had an opportunity to be with somebody that was a little ahead of their financial journey, and then he was just prepared to be open-minded to listen.
Yep. And I also did my homework on the, like, coming into it too, also because when me and Chris had spoken, when me and Chris had spoken in that first consult, if you would say, I already had some knowledge, so it's not like he had to tell me, like, he didn't have to baby step me or walk my hand through anything, and I feel like that also made it a lot easier on him, because he was just like, all right, I don't have to go through all the, like, the little, you know, all this and understand this. I was already kind of ahead of the game for the most part.
And there's no issue with that as well, because I'm somebody that I'm going to meet you where you are. Right?
100%. But to circle back to what I was saying as far as, like, how to find your purpose, for me, my biggest area of pain was baseball. My biggest area of pain was my weight, my identity with weight, and not making it with baseball. Come fast forward where we're at today, what am I doing? I'm doing a podcast where I talk about how I didn't make it in baseball, and my entrepreneurial journey is based around my weight loss journey. So the two areas that caused the most pain for me are now the two areas that I am locked in on the most. What I was avoiding is now become what I've embraced. So, like, for anybody who's gonna see this, like, you know, look for that area that's caused the most pain for you, and then go and double down into that, and you will find your answer. Because even Chris's story, how he got into what he's doing with credit, it wouldn't be like crazy pain, but he's also doing the podcast. He didn't make it in baseball. That's a pain point. How did you give a little tidbit on why you're doing credit and how that pain, how did you fall into credit? Watch this, listen to this.
Yeah, crazy. So I got into my own personal credit journey because I got scammed for some sneakers. Think about that, right? I got scammed for some sneakers. This is back in like 2015. I got scammed for some sneakers, hustling, because I was flipping, and this is what people don't see as well, right? Because while I was in college, if you're a scholarship athlete, usually you get like a refund check. I wasn't using my refund check to ball out or splurge. I was using my refund check to
better than me.
I was using my refund check, right, to make money, right, and to, you know, to build and stuff. So I brought that up because I used my refund check. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go buy some sneakers, I'm gonna take them to Flight Club, I'm gonna flip them, and then build from there. That didn't work out how I expected it to, right? And I used to complain to the couple. There was a couple. It was these two girls, right? One was on you know what? We're not gonna get into who they were, but the point was that I used to complain to them like, yo, where's the money? Like, they were supposed to send me a refund, this and that. I don't know what made me invest with them after the shoe thing. But she was like, oh, you always complaining about money, mad at me that I'm complaining about money you owe me. She was like, oh, have you ever thought about Forex? I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's cool, whatever. So she showed me how to make money with Forex. And she was like, oh, but there's an investment. I'm like, okay, I don't have the money. She was like, oh, but you could take out a credit card. I took out a Discover card, my first one. They didn't take Discover cards. So I had to get another card. It was a Chase student card. And that was literally how I started my personal credit journey, because I got scammed, and kind of hindsight, using OPM to invest into Forex.
And what's OPM for the people that don't understand?
Other people's money, right? Other people's money. So literally what I teach now is how to use the bank's money to start growing, to start fund and grow your business, is what I did unintentionally because I got scammed for some sneakers, but that's what started my credit journey, right? So sometimes you may be in a situation where at the time, right, where you're going through that identity crisis, you may not see like the light at the end of the tunnel. I just want to say it like that, right? But in hindsight, me being scammed really catapulted my credit journey.
Exactly.
So that's just crazy story.
It's crazy, and then, but the thing about it, and then this all circles back to that whole grace period. I can now say that my 2 areas of pain have now become the catalyst for my entrepreneurial journey. But it took me 4.5 years to get here. And even then, I really didn't fully land on what I'm doing now until about 6-7 months ago. And Chris will be the first one to tell you. Last year, I was doing YouTube automation. That didn't work out for me. Then I did the drop shipping. Then I did all of this other stuff. It was, once I lost my weight, once I did all of that, and I kind of just switched my thinking of everything, and stepped into who I was and stopped avoiding, or I kind of let go of the idea of, you know what, I'm no longer going to be playing baseball, and that's perfectly fine. I don't have nothing to prove to anybody. And for me, what was the hardest thing was just like facing everybody, and it's just like, when you're an above level athlete that you're usually the best player most people have seen, when they see you, they're just like, oh, you know, you're gonna make it to the league, like I can't wait to see you play or whatever. When you don't make it, they're just like, damn, like I thought you were. So it's just like, that was hard for me, because I was lucky enough that no matter where I played, I was always looked at as one of the top athletes, travel teams, high school, whatever the case may be. So when they didn't see that I didn't make it, it's just like, all right, damn, you didn't pan out. What are you doing now? I became comfortable with myself outside of being an athlete. That was the main thing. Because my heart, like we've said in multiple episodes, our whole identity is baseball. So I never knew what it was to be comfortable in my skin as not an athlete, an active athlete. Let me say that, because I'm just right now an inactive athlete, because I'll still get busy right now. If you want to get hot, we could get on the field right now, but I'm an inactive athlete. But now I have become comfortable in my skin as who I am off the field. So that played a big role in, once I was able to do that, then I was able to find, you know, those areas that, you know, had interest. I was able to fill that void, and that's when the grace period became a lot easier. In the beginning, man, you're gonna fight with it. You're gonna fight personally with it, because you're gonna be fighting with who you used to be, and you know, you're gonna, and as an athlete, you have to avoid that jock syndrome. So you know, that jock quarterback, you know, star quarterback syndrome, like living your glory days, and they're done. It's over. Yeah, it's over. Like, be grateful that baseball brought you to the places that it did, right? I'm a great person to look at when it comes to like ending their career or not ending their career the way that they wanted to. And 100%. I had a great career. Like, I'm not regretful of anything that I went through, but even if you look at some of my stats, they don't reflect the type of player that I was, right? Oh no. And the people who were on my team can attest to that, right? So it's not just me saying that. That's when the off-field stuff is starting to affect the on-field stuff. You know that any better than anybody. That's a fact, right? So, but yeah, like,
just how JP said, it took him about 4.5 years, maybe even a little longer, to find out what he's doing now. It may not have to. It shouldn't take you, or it doesn't have to take. It doesn't have to be that long for you guys,
right?
Because you have things like Life After Baseball. You have guys like me, like JP, who are talking about not only how we felt, but what we did to go through that grace period transaction,
yes.
And then also present to you a bunch of opportunities that you guys can look at to kind of fill that void that baseball had.
Yeah, you can. And in all honesty, when Cam was talking about in Jordan's podcast using YouTube or YouTube University, right?
Yeah.
We spoke about and we talked to Jordan about having a mentor and taking a mentor on, and how having a mentor will allow you to fast track you and catapult you past a lot of the growing pains that you're going to take. Especially for you guys who are just getting out of college, for you guys who are going to be watching this and might not have the money, you can use us, you can use our guests as mentors, and just following, the things that we're saying on the podcast, following the little gems that we're giving. We can be your free mentors. That's what we're here to do, so that we can help get you to skip. If I can get you to not take 4.5 years to get to where you want to get to, I'm the most happiest person in the world, because I know what it feels like to be in your position, because I sat in your position. So I know that if I was able to find someone who can fast track me to where I'm at today, 3.5 years ago, I couldn't even imagine where I'd be at today.
Yeah.
So really, that's why we even started this podcast, because we want to help you guys get to that and fast track that whole process, because it is a daunting process. It is a painful process. And now we're not saying that we're going to help you skip the process, because you're going to have to go through what you have to go through, because there's a saying that was taught to me: grow through what you go through. You need to experience it. You need to see what's on the other side. You need to really hit rock bottom, your own personal rock bottom, in order to understand who you are, to start climbing your way out. Because I hit my own personal rock bottom. Chris has hit his own personal rock bottom.
Multiple times.
Everyone's rock bottom looks different. It's not always on an addictive standpoint, so where you see in movies and in shows to like, I have no money, I'm on the side of the road, I'm missing a tooth. No, like, rock bottom could just be personal, like you're not comfortable looking at yourself in the mirror anymore.
You lost the love of your life. Baseball was the love of your life, and you lost that, and it's there's no future with it. But I think some of the biggest takeaways that I want to take from this is, like, feel what you need to feel and let time do its thing, and utilize the support system. I think the biggest thing that Zach brought up, that Jordan, Jordan had a little bit of a difficult route, but Zach, he had the support system, right? He had his mom, he had a sister, he had his dad that showed him or that like helped him with that transition. So, utilize us for support, utilize, the guests for support, and take advantage of the information that we provide.
Yep. And, and another last key component that I want to give you guys before, we cut it, is try everything. Try everything. You're not too cool to try things. You don't know what you're good at. You don't know or how good you would be at something. Try stuff. For me, personally, when I was growing up, my mom started to take a lot of pictures of me for baseball and everything like that. Or she liked taking pictures in general for the memories and stuff. For me, it was annoying. I hated taking pictures. I'm the same kid, like, oh, smile for the picture. I'm like, all right, like, you getting 5 pictures out of me, and like, that's it, bro. Now, my whole life is I'm in front of a camera. My whole thing is being in front of a camera and everything. And then in the beginning, I was avoiding it, because I'm just like, oh, I don't like the pictures, I don't like this. And come to find out, now I love it. I'm not too cool to be in front of a camera. I'm not too cool to try rollerblading, which is what I got myself into. I love art. I love painting and stuff like that. Now, I'm not to say that I'm a great painter and stuff, but I say that to say, try everything. You don't know what you're going to be good at. You don't know what you're not going to like and what you are going to like. And sometimes, a lot of the times, what you think you're going to like, it doesn't end up being that way. Like,
but you don't know if you don't try, right? And that's what I meant by fail forward.
Fail forward and fail fast.
Fail forward.
Fail fast and fail forward. But, you know, I hope that this, you know, this little combo really does help you guys, you know, with this whole grace period. You know, we felt like this was a deep conversation that deserved its own conversation. And I want you guys to be on the lookout for more vlog style videos and more videos like this where we might take little concepts and excerpts, you know, from the podcast and break it down and have a little bit of a longer conversation with you guys, something a little bit more relaxed to where it's just us, you know.
Chilling.
You know, and you see what we do on a day-to-day basis and, you know, pick our brains, and you get to see who we are, you know, off the professional side of the camera, you know, when the lights are off, you know, how we actually conduct ourselves, how, you know, we're actually trying to make a difference, you know, the things that we're trying to cook up for you guys. You know, there's so many different things that we have in store for you guys. Chris has so many great ideas that he brought up as far as, like, you know,
idea, man.
You know, merch stuff and just, like, you know, doing stuff for the community. Like, next year is going to be a big year for us.
Yeah, so let us know. You know, one thing that would be huge for us, you know, one of the main things that we ask is, you know, we just ask for feedback, right? Like how did you like the convo? How did you like the topic? Are there any topics that you guys maybe go through or, you know, want us to speak about a lot more? If you guys have watched, you know, episode 3, episode 2 with Zach and with Jordan, you know, was there something on there that, you know, that we brought up that you guys want to hear more about? And, you know, so we can make sure that on the next episode or the next vlog that, you know, we bring that to your attention, because this is way more for you guys than it is for us. I mean, for us, this is a passion project, and you know, once again, how things kind of come full circle. We're able just to build a community of people and to stay in touch with people who want to talk about this life after baseball. But yeah, listen, the feedback is super helpful, so we can bring the conversation that you guys want to hear. Because, you know, like I said, this is more for you guys than it is for us.
That's a fact.
And to constantly support you guys through your journey. Because and then, I mean, we're literally doing what you mentioned, where it's like, yo, it was painful for me to have these thoughts about life after baseball and to not speak to other people that have gone through it and to, in a sense, essentially suffer in silence. Like, that's what most people do, suffer in silence. And,
especially as a man.
Yeah, and it was dope that, facts, and it was dope that Zach was like, yo, when we brought the conversation up, wow, yo, sign me up. Yo, let me know when the episode is. Yo, let me know when to show up, because this is something that I haven't really talked about and nobody even knows about me.
Absolutely, and it's something that me and Cam are noticing as we're going more and more, and it's something.
Session.
Yeah, exactly. You beat me to it. We more said it. Yeah, 100%. It was in a therapy session. That was exactly what I was gonna say. We said it more after the first episode, when we had the episode with Zach, where we were just like, yo, this is therapy for people. Like, this is a chance for people to get things off their chest, and it's even a chance for us to get things off our chest and, you know, bring conversations to light. You know, there's even conversations that we've had in, like, Jordan's episode or in Zach's episode that they kind of unlock core memories for me that I'm just like, yo, oh my God, I remember going through that, or I remember that feeling, or like, if you know kind of thing. And it's just like that whole idea of community, that whole idea of, like, feeling like you belong somewhere, it really does go far. And, like, you know, just as much as there's a fraternity of people who made it to the league and everything like that, there's an even bigger fraternity of us who didn't make it, but we still made it. And that's what we're putting out. And just like you're gonna go on your journey, you guys are gonna watch us on our journey. We're gonna fail forward in front of you guys. We're gonna do it ugly, like Chris said, and like he always likes to preach. You guys are watching us on our own. This is not something that me and Chris have done before. This is not something that we're adept to. This is literally something we're learning on the fly, and we just threw ourselves into. So you're gonna go on your journey. You're gonna watch us on our journey. Listen, if we can fail in front of a camera for you guys, you can fail in private in front of yourself and pick yourself back up. But as always, guys, this is Life After Baseball. This is the only podcast where we show you how you can go from dugouts to deals,
or from cleats to clients.
Mahala.
See you at the next one.